welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is good. So as you can see by the title of this video, I finished setting up my brand new bullet journal for 2024. I'm so excited to start using this journal and all the spreads and everything. So grab your journal if you guys are setting up yours, or a snack or something, and just chill with me while I set this up. So like I usually do, I started off with all the decorations for this setup, and I chose to do watercolor elements, and specifically like a bouquet of pansies and just some pansies in general. So I did all of those first by sketching those out on some watercolor paper, and then I took my time whilst painting these really cute pansies, and I did 5 pieces in total to use over the spreads for this setup. So I don't know if you guys watched my mid-year bullet journal setup that I posted in July. I usually have 2 planners for each year because they only last me 6 months at a time. Now I'm most likely going to start using only 1 bullet journal in 2025, and that sounds so crazy to say, but I don't want to have to set up mid-year journals anymore, just because it takes a lot of time and it's a lot of commitment. So this will be like the last year I do that I use 2. But I will link my previous ones here just in case you guys didn't get a chance to see my last ones. And I think it was fun to kind of do 2 per year just because I got to just create so much. But I think now, because I'm kind of stepping into some newer projects and stuff, I'm just not going to be able to have any time to make a mid-year one. So just a really quick rundown of my watercolor painting. I know you guys have seen me do watercolor paintings so much here on the channel, and I think everyone knows how to use watercolor at this point, but I did all my flat and base colors first, and then I darkened the shades and added shadows to make the flowers look more 3D and a bit more like realistic. And I ended up changing a few colors that I didn't like and tweaking bits here and there. And overall I really do love how they turned out, but the only thing I wish I didn't do is add the leaves to the flowers on the top. You'll see at the end they're just like a bit mismatched, like they kind of look out of place but thankfully they were only like really small, so it didn't make that big of a difference. But I do love the overall setup and everything with them in. And then I just used my really tiny detailed watercolor brushes to add some detail at the end, just to kind of pull everything together. And I really liked the colors that I picked, because usually I wouldn't pick this many colors in one piece, especially for flowers. And I did so many different colors, which I loved the outcome of. And I think it sits nice in the journal as well, because the journal is like dark brown. It's kind of like they're growing out of the journal if that makes sense, because you know mud is brown. Yeah, anyway, so that was a kind of like the idea for that, and I just loved all the colors I used, even the yellows and the pinks. And usually pink is really not my thing, but I think they look great with the flowers here. finished up these paintings, and then I'm gonna start getting into like the working spreads. So for my bullet journal this year, I'm using another notebook, Therapy notebook, and I love the color. It's probably my favorite color out of all the bullet journals I've ever had, which is over 10 at this point. And I love the gold, like gilded edges, and just the gold detailing, and it's like a velvet type of material, so I'm definitely gonna have to make sure to like keep it as clean as I can. I did have like the faux leather one previously because I thought that would be easy to keep clean, and while it got scratched a lot, so I thought I'd try this like material this time. But honestly, this is gonna get wear and tear and it's gonna get dirty anyway, but you know, just like to take that extra time to try and keep it as clean as I can. So on the first page I did my name as usual, and I ended up using an Archer and Olive Kraft paper notepad, and I used this for elements in every single spread. And I then decided to do something a little bit different by adding a page of craft paper with my goals on it. Now I took this page out of another notebook, and then I just cut it down. And I really wanted to explore my goals for this year a lot more thoroughly, so I decided to extend that to 2 spreads just for my goals specifically, and I separated them into personal goals and creative goals. And I also wrote a quote on the front, and then I added one of my pansy bouquets to that as well. And while I've separated it into personal and creative goals, I didn't necessarily have like a certain structure that I wanted to plan the goals out in specifically, so I thought I'd kind of just leave it open to how I'm feeling like going forward. But I do think I'm going to add some boxes, and then I'll add smaller goals, just kind of like how I do in my normal plan with me. Like I'll have the goal and then I'll split it into more manageable tasks so I can achieve that goal. So moving on to my next 2 spreads, I did my cover page and my words of the year spread, and I used my craft paper notepad to write 2024, which was for the left side, and then love and gratitude, which is for the right side, with like the definitions and some personal definitions of my own as well. And then I cut out all of those elements with my little like mini Amazon paper cutter thing, which is not the greatest, I have to admit. It doesn't cut like super clean, so I have to cut off some of like the straggly bits with scissors. But it's okay. Hopefully I can get a better one in the future. And I stuck all of those down and gave the spreads a really simple border, and I used this same simple border throughout all of my spreads. And for most of my lettering and writing I did, and for the borders as well, I used a Sakura fineliner. I used the 005 and the 01. So going on to my future log, I went through the tedious process of handwriting my 2024 calendar, January to December, and even though I'm only going to be using this journal for 6 months, I still wanted to write out all of the months just in case I needed to add anything for those last 6 months of the year as well. And I sped this up for you guys on like times 20 so that you can actually see the process, which I thought was quite satisfying when I watched it back. And I love how the craft paper looks with the calendars and everything, and I was going for something really simple this year in terms of the theme, so I didn't write any of my titles as well because I know exactly what the pages are going to be used for, and I also just wanted to keep it simple so I could spend most of my time actually planning. So I stuck those in, and then I did the months of the year on top of each mini calendar. Oh, and another reason I focused on keeping this setup really simple is so that I could go crazy on like the plan with me's for the months and the themes and stuff like that, just so I could be like really creative and whatever. So I thought I'd just keep this simple so that I can focus on the planning and like the actual workings of the spreads, if that makes any sense at all. So for my final spread, I actually made a content planner, and I made it for the first 6 months, again since this journal is only going to be used from January to June. And then I used the remainder of my watercolor pansies to add a really cute quote on the side, and then I also used my letter stamps to add the first letter of the month and the quote. So I'll be using this to kind of plan out any ideas and also social media ideas as well, because I kind of want to explore that a little bit more in terms of my art. And then also the mini calendars will be for videos that are actually planned for specific dates. So I usually do my content planners in like my plan with me's for each month, but I wanted to try and do like a yearly one just so I can keep everything together, and then obviously if I need to use any more spreads going forward, then I can do that. And for everything that I've used in this video, I will do the best that I can to link everything in the description. Some things are not available anymore, but the things that are, I will do the best to add them for you guys, just in case you wanted to check them out. So that is it for my 2024 bullet journal setup, and here is the final flip through for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and were able to find some inspiration. I'm extremely excited to start using this journal and to just start planning in it, and I've got some really exciting things coming up for this year, and I hope you guys will be there with me for those. And don't forget to like and comment and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I shall see you guys in my next video.